We're back. The Model Y is back in business with a new battery pack. And by new, I mean new to us. It is a refurbished battery. Yes, we did ask if we could get a brand new one, and it just wasn't available, nor was LFP available. I believe they only offer that for standard range Model Ys that are specifically rear-wheel drive, of course. But overall, I was extremely impressed with the speediness and communication that went on with Tesla service, and I thought I would go over the timeline and events here. And well, there's certainly a lot of problems with the company, and it seems like a lot of executives are leaving Tesla over some of these issues. I wanted to credit on more of a local level some of the hardworking people at Tesla, because I think a lot of the corporation gets mixed in together. You know, there's a lot of frustrations people have with the board and the big names on top of the company, but it's easy to forget that there's thousands of hardworking people that don't get to make a lot of the big picture decisions, that are just working hard, trying to make quality products and quality experiences for everyday customers like ourselves. And keep in mind, the service I'm talking about in today's video is on a used vehicle. We are not even the second owners of this Model Y. We're the third owners, and Tesla still went above and beyond, in my opinion, to make sure that we got our car back as quickly as possible. They worked on holidays, like calling us on the 4th of July, asking if the car could be driven in the next morning, even though it was on a weekend. But I also want to mention how amazing it is to me that once business hours officially begun that following Monday, how quickly Tesla was able to swap an entire battery pack out of this Model Y, and they put in a refurbished one. I was watching it in the app because you can see when they start actually putting it in service mode and then when they complete it, and it was about 7 hours start to finish for them to completely change out the battery pack. That's impressive to me, considering I've watched other channels do it, and while Tesla I don't think has published their official video showcasing their process, I've seen other channels swap battery packs, and they usually have to take out the seats. There's a lot that goes into it, and that first day of service on Monday was just for the battery pack replacement. It took them until the next day on Tuesday to replace the windshield. But I wanted to mention that they also found other problems in our Model Y that I wasn't expecting them to fix, but they went ahead and fixed out of goodwill. I don't know if this is just because I'm a YouTuber. It's honestly kind of funny to me, because in the video talking about my battery pack dying, we got comments saying, oh yeah, you were definitely given special treatment. And then we also got a bunch of comments saying, oh no, Tesla did the exact same thing for me. Basically, other people were saying that if you have a high voltage battery failure, you get moved up in the priority list. And Tesla moved very, very quickly for others out there who were not content creators to get the battery pack fixed as quickly as possible. But basically, by 3 o'clock on Tuesday, the car was done. They gave us a call and said that they replaced some of the bottom plastic around the seat trim, which was coming off on our Model Y. I noticed that, but I didn't include it in the service report because I just didn't think it was that important. They also found dirt and smudges on the headliner, which again, we knew about, but I didn't think it was that big a deal. They went ahead and cleaned it up real nice. And also, there was black trim popping off on the C-pillars in the back. Again, I noticed it, but didn't think it was that big a deal, and they went ahead and replaced that trim material. So now, interior details are even better than before, alongside the new windshield and the new battery pack. And they did all of that within about 2 days of service. I also want it to be mentioned that while yes, I did have some complaints and some annoyances with how people view the Cybertruck, it's kind of amazing, and my wife pointed this out as well, that even though we're the third owners of this Model Y, and they were able to get the vehicle done basically in 2 business days, they gave us a more expensive vehicle to drive around in the meantime, and they covered all of the charging for it. You know, if you were getting a gas car worked on, most dealerships, for one, are probably not going to give you a loaner anyway, but if they do give you a loaner, do they include free gasoline? Because Tesla basically let us drive the Cybertruck for 4 full days, as in we picked up the Cybertruck in the morning and we turned it in at night 4 days later, and the mileage cap was 200 miles per day, and we could supercharge it as much as we wanted, which is pretty incredible, and at no additional cost to us. We did not have to rent the car, we did not have to pay for fuel or insurance or anything like that. They basically just handed us the keys to an $80,000 vehicle and said, yeah, drive this as much as you want. So I got to admit, I'm a lot more patient and I'm a lot more forgiving of long service waits if they're willing to give you a free loaner and they cover the charging / fuel involved with it. That's pretty impressive, and the fact they were able to do so much with the car so quickly. And yes, I'm happy to report the car feels better than ever. It always feels great having a brand new windshield on your car because it just looks pristine. It looks super clean. The battery is behaving as normally now. It's charging, and they actually charged it up for us before we picked it up all the way to 100%, which I found kind of surprising. Had all these people saying, oh no, don't charge it to 100% if you don't have to. And yet the service guys were like, oh yeah, let's just put it on the destination charger and let it go all the way up to full. I believe now when full, it says 284 miles or something like that, which is technically a little bit higher than it was before we brought it in. Only weird part that I think was an accident on their end is when we picked up the car, it was kind of late at night because it was a busy day for us. We got in the car, we moved everything out of the Cybertruck into our Model Y, obviously felt a lot smaller, and it was like, wow, okay, whew, this is a lot easier to drive. And I put my foot on the brake and the PIN code shows up. They enabled a PIN to drive, which we did not have on our car, and they forgot to turn it off, I think, after they finished service. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, there is an option at the bottom to override the PIN just by entering your Tesla credentials, which is basically just your Tesla email and password if you're the official owner of the car. So we just entered in our credentials and then the car started moving, but it was kind of late at night and it was a little stressful to think, oh God, is there now a PIN on this car that we don't know how to enter? But either way, I'm thankful that they charged it up to full because technically we drove it to the service center and it got there around 3%. So that was basically a full fresh battery that we didn't have to pay for through Tesla credits or through expensive home electricity prices. So we got a full tank of gas, essentially. The car feels brand new. It's driving great. And as impressed as I am with Tesla service, and I love how quick they're able to do everything, I got to admit, I'm still a little bit more nervous when it comes to road tripping with this vehicle because thankfully I was in a situation where I was just barely able to get all the way home on a single charge, even though the car was not able to charge at around 87%. I do still keep thinking to myself, what if this happened in a different situation where I couldn't get home on a single charge? What if we were road tripping late at night and we were stuck somewhere and I had to call a tow truck at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning? Sometimes we do drive our vehicles late at night. We drive a lot. That's part of the reason we bought electric vehicles, was to save a ton of money on gas, and we love, of course, driving electric. So I'm just a little bit more skeptical now when we go on road trips with this car because I've watched other YouTubers like Nico, who's living in his Model Y. Great channel, by the way. Go check him out. And I know from watching other people's experience, particularly with the 2021 Model Ys, which appear to have a higher failure rate with replacement battery packs, that typically from watching other channels, if you get one battery pack replaced at, 70,000 miles like we did, there's a high likelihood that that replacement pack, which is remanufactured, is also likely not going to be the kind of battery pack that makes it 100,000 miles or more. So now I have more of this attitude that a battery pack replacement in this car is a when, not an if. And we were really not planning on replacing this car within 2 or 3 years. We were planning on driving it hundreds of thousands of miles. So I'm kind of already researching in the back of my head, what are we going to do when this battery pack goes bad? Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully I'm wrong. My wife loves this car. It's mostly her car at the end of the day. And I can tell you from her opinion, she wants to drive this thing until it does not drive. So if we can get 500,000 miles out of this battery pack, we will do it. But we're going to be more cautious. We're definitely not charging it to full, and we're not letting the battery get below 20% anymore. We're just being very, very careful with how we charge it. And when we road trip, I think we're more likely going to take the Model 3 now, just out of a extra buffer of caution. The LFP battery seems to be holding up great. Other people online have been putting hundreds of thousands of miles on their LFP batteries with very little degradation. But that being said, if the battery pack went out on this car and it was out of warranty, yeah, I definitely don't think we'd be that interested in spending $13,000 to replace the battery, which is what it would have cost if this was not within warranty. Tesla told us our warranty is still going to last until 120,000 miles, but I think we're definitely going to exceed that during the ownership of this car. We don't plan on selling it. We got such a great deal on it, but I'm already thinking of what kind of car we would want to replace this with. Honestly, with the way we use our cars, how we drive them so much, and how I'm not the kind of guy that wants to buy a new car every 3 years. We want to just drive it hundreds of thousands of miles and see how long it lasts. I've been researching the Mach-E a little bit because that's another hatchback that has LFP batteries available. Tesla currently does not offer LFP batteries in any of their cars in the United States, but they've technically never offered them in the Model Y in the US. Maybe they they will. Technically, they're building up some new LFP battery factories in Nevada, but we're fairly confident that's just for Powerwall and Megapack. It's not going to be used for car batteries, but hopefully that changes in the future. But I don't know. As a tremendous fan of LFP, and I also like the look of the Mach-E quite a bit. Other people online have been putting hundreds of thousands of miles on their Mach-Es and showing very little issues, very little maintenance. I get it, the software is going to be worse, but the Mach-E does have CarPlay support with EV route planning built in. Plus it has supercharger access and honestly energy efficiency that's not as good as Tesla, but pretty good. And I don't know, I'm open. I'm very interested as well with the Kia EV6. It's not LFP, but it does have NACS and it does have it in the right place. My wife also enjoyed the ID4 when we checked it out. So we're definitely not in the immediate market. Just to be clear, we're not planning on buying another car for as long as we can. And the question will definitely come up again when the battery pack goes bad on this Model Y out of warranty. If it goes bad within warranty and we get another pack, that's definitely what we're going to do. Even if we have to pay for labor like Nico did on his Model Y, we would gladly pay the $1,300 to just get another remanufactured battery pack. But I do wonder, why does it cost $13,000 when they're already not using a brand new battery pack? It only takes Tesla 7 hours to swap a whole pack, and they're using recycled packs in the first place. I feel like you could calm a lot more EV woes and make these EV battery stories a lot easier to digest if Tesla found a way to dramatically lower the price of out of warranty pack replacements. If it ended up being more like $5,000 or $4,000, I think more people would be comfortable buying EVs used, and maybe Tesla doesn't want that. They would rather you buy brand new Teslas, I guess. But it should be mentioned, you definitely could not swap an engine in a gas car in about 7 hours. That's a very expensive, pricey repair too. But overall, we're happy that the Model Y is still working, and I'm very happy with Tesla service as a whole. I've been seeing some of the wait times Rivian owners are facing these days. Similar stories with Lucids. It would not be a similar story, I think, if I had a Rivian or Lucid, but we'll see what the state of the EV market is by the time this battery pack goes bad. Maybe the R2 will be out by then, and maybe they'll even have LFP batteries in the R2. That would be a really tempting offer for me because I love Rivian, I love their software, and honestly, that would be a lot more tempting to me for style reasons, for software reasons, and, you know, just overall brand support reasons than a Mach-E. But I'm just letting you guys know where my mind's at in regards to the EV market right now. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.